It's football season, and you can now get almost anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a running back delivered, but you can get baby back ribs delivered. A strong defense? No. A strong deodorant? Yes. A six-pack of abs? Nope. Six-pack of beer? Yes. Get almost anything for game day delivered with Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Alcohol 21 plus and in select cities. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Hey, this is Chris Duffy, host of Ted's How to Be a Better Human podcast and the author of the book Humor Me, which is all about how you can laugh more, how you can build deeper relationships, and have a life filled with laughter and delight, especially this year in 2026. The book is coming out now. It is available wherever books and audiobooks are sold. If you are listening to this, you are on a device that can probably access the internet. Use that internet to search for Humor Me by Chris Duffy. Buy the book, laugh more, have a great life. That's a guarantee.
Imagine that this line represents the time, present 1985, future, past. Prior to this point in time, somewhere in the past, the timeline skewed into this tangent, creating an alternate 1985. Alternate you, me, and Einstein. But reality for everyone else.
Welcome back to Infinite Rabbit Hole, everybody. I'm your most important host, Jake, and I'm joined today in the studio. Well, not my studio, but their own specific studios in their own specific states and parts of the country. Let's start with Jeff. Jeff, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty all right, bud. How are you?
Dude, I am also pretty all right. I bashed my hand at work, so I had to figure out the whole workers' comp thing. And I thought I was going to get fired there for a second, so it was kind of interesting. And then we way overdid it with the spring vegetable plants and flowers.
Nice.
Yeah, so we had a lot of work to do yesterday. And I ripped out a tree in our front yard, so.
Nice. I worked 40 hours and then did some pressure washing per the usual. Played some Minecraft on the side, you know.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Nothing extraordinary. Oh, Crystal made
Nothing to shake
Crystal
a stick
made two different kinds of tacos 2 nights in a row, so that was glorious.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Tacos are always good. And then we are also joined by Mr. Jeremizzle. How are you doing, Jeremizzle?
I'm good. I got to change that. Decoding reality may be postponed just slightly, but I'll announce that at a later date. All right. I got something cool to announce. Somebody had reached out to me today and announced something to me. So I am going to announce it to the world for them. And I want to start off by sharing the screen. Hold on. Bear with me.
Wow, it's such a great announcement.
All that
Jeremy.
clicking around, you didn't even have it down ready. What is that?
That is... Who is it, guys?
Can't see from here.
I don't know. The screen's too small.
It's CJ.
Oh.
CJ
got engaged.
CJ
on Thursday.
Congratulations.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations to our old co-hosts CJ and Marissa on their engagement on Thursday.
Hell yeah, brother.
Congratulations, CJ.
That is awesome. He is
a young man's growing up.
He is. He's doing all big boy stuff and everything now. You know, he's growing up before our very eyes, becoming a man. It's very good. Found himself a woman that's gonna man him up and make him into the man he has as potential.
Jeff needs to become a man too.
Yeah, Crystal,
like,
man that boy up.
What?
Yeah,
man him up.
Man him up, Crystal. This guy's in his 40s. He needs to grow up
Not
already.
in his 40s.
Well, he looks like
No, he
it.
doesn't.
He's driving with there's driving with the brakes on, but this guy is driving with the e-brake on. He's got them crazy city miles. He's like blowing off pieces of his car, of his body in his car while he's going down the road. Fucking rims falling off and stuff.
Anyways, so congratulations to CJ and Marissa. They're not in the chat tonight, but I did tell CJ that I was
They're
going to
not in the
announce
chat
that.
tonight. I take it back.
They are
I'm
not.
not happy for you guys.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I'm happy for you guys. So CJ, when this episode does come out, congratulations. I hope you guys, the very best, have a happy life together. And when's the
You
wedding?
should be celebrating this by watching the Infinite Rabbit Hole live on Twitch and YouTube. You fucks.
So Infinite Rabbit Hole is gonna have to crash that wedding. That's gonna be cool. That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
We're going to get in there and we're going to drink up all the booze.
Not if I have to fly there.
You can take a bus up to Pennsylvania. Come on.
You can also hitchhike. Use that thumb, sir.
Yeah, use them lips. Look at them things. Got them duck lip.
Use
You
those
got them
gifts.
camel lips, bro.
How'd you get all the way across the country? My lips.
Flapping my camel lips at anyone who gave me the time of day.
Little lip service.
Not the
That's
ones
right.
on my face either.
Old Lippy Jeff right here.
Old Jeffy, the lippy guy.
Yeah.
Old
Jeff
lip
Camel
Jeff.
Lips Fernandez.
Anyways,
Don't invite him to your wedding. He'll use them lips on everyone. Hear that, CJ? Watch out. Don't invite old Lippy Fernandez.
I'm gonna go get married again just to invite him. All right. Jeff, do you feel singled out?
not really. This is a standard practice on the show for the last 4 years for me.
Bullying. Yeah.
Uh,
He gets on the show to get bullied.
Yep.
he doesn't even get paid for this.
Nope.
He just
Yeah.
sits there and takes it
Yep.
like a champ.
Free bullying. What an honor, you know?
He even put a couch in his studio just so he can get comfortable for it.
Yeah, it's much easier to take a beating on a couch,
Yeah, it is. I can't, dude.
He's over here taking a pounding on that couch, man.
Yeah, dude.
All right, what are we talking about today, guys? What do you guys want to talk
Well,
about? We could talk about the Mandela
You
effect.
guys hear that Fauci's probably going to jail finally? You want to talk about
did.
that?
No,
I didn't hear that.
no,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about
That's
that.
a thing. All right, fine.
Personally, I don't give a flying fuck about it.
I do.
I mean, good, right? Good that that's coming down the pipeline. But I mean, the guy, if he's going to prison, then he's getting what he deserves, and it is what it is. Let him go. Let him serve his time, and whatever. I couldn't care less. But
Cool. Well, now we know Jeremy's opinion on it. What else should we talk about?
Yeah. Jeremy's a shill. All right, cool.
I mean, if I had turned around and been like, "Oh no, Fauci, I hope that he doesn't," then be worried. But I mean,
Oh, he better don't.
but I mean, good. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. I don't feel like I need to waste my breath on that. My opinion.
We're gonna get a whole bunch of hate, just like we got with the flat Earth thing. They're gonna be like, "That Jeremy, he doesn't believe in law and order."
Oh no, I believe in law and order, but it's like if it's coming down the pipeline, it's like, all right, good, next.
Next,
I mean, there's a lot of people that need to follow him. Let's tackle that now. So, but anyways, I have a list of things. I know we talked about doing the Mandela effect this week, and I didn't do any research into it.
Neither did I.
Not that I really needed to. It's a subject that I'm fairly familiar with, but didn't do any research. I had a really, really busy week. A lot of big things happened this week, most of which has to deal with either this show or upcoming projects. So I'm not going to really get too far into that.
Just hanging it hanging it above everyone's head like a carrot, being like,
why even
there
bring it
is.
up if you're not going to talk about it?
Well, because
Right?
I don't want to get people excited.
Then don't
or,
bring it up.
Put things out there. Well, I want to explain why I didn't do anything for the Mandela effect. There was other things going on.
I mean, I don't have to explain it. I just didn't.
Yeah, we don't need a fucking.
All right, well then whatever. Fuck me then. Whatever.
Yeah, shut up, Jeremy.
Don't make me use these lips on you, boy.
See, now he's having fun with it. See?
Get these lips on.
I do have a few things written down here, including the new news from this week, which was that scientists or astronomers believe that they had found a planet with life on it. I don't know if you guys have heard that, but that was pretty cool.
Sure.
Oh, Katy Perry went into space for 11 minutes and then made out with the dirt.
Let's talk about that.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny, dude.
So fake. Dude.
My favorite part of that dang video was them opening up the capsule from the inside, and then the handler runs up to tell him to close it so that Bezos can get over there with some fake tool and pretend to open it. It's like it was so stupid.
Yeah, it's fakery, man. I mean, like, here's the thing, right? Like, are they launching people up in high altitude and then dropping them back down? Sure, they are.
Yeah.
Is that
called Zero G?
Yeah.
It's a company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that space? No.
Nope.
Not even close. So
I've heard a ton of different things or definitions about where space actually begins, right?
Just take the definition from NASA. NASA is the agency that defines these things, and their definition is that the atmosphere extends beyond the moon. The moon is within the exosphere, which is a layer of the atmosphere. So if they're not going beyond the moon, they're not going into space.
Well, there you go.
That's from NASA. So there you go. I mean, you could hear 1,000 different fucking definitions and explanations. But
So then technically this International Space Station isn't out in space
there you
either.
go. Neither is any of the satellites.
I just like how it looked like a giant dick.
It does look like a giant dick.
Well, you know, that Bezos guy. Everyone else making these pointy rockets. He's like, make it phallic. Make it really phallic. I want it to look like a big old flying dildo.
It does.
We need this to look like a dick.
It was more interesting when the dude from Dude Perfect went to space.
Who?
Dude Perfect. You guys watch Dude Perfect on YouTube? No. They do like trick shots and shit. They sent one of his guys to space like a couple years ago on that thing. And that was actually an entertaining video because they made like one of their YouTube videos out of it, you know, and it was like edited for autism. It was good.
Oh my gosh. And did you see in the video how hard that capsule hit the ground?
No, I didn't. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh
I
my gosh.
Didn't even watch the
That
video.
thing just smashed onto the ground. And you're going to tell me all those ladies got out of there and they're like, oh yeah, it was fine. Like, I had parachutes and stuff, but it was like, wham!
I didn't even watch the video.
Here, let's see if I can pull it up.
It popped up on like every feed that I had, and I didn't click play on a single one of them.
Here, let me pull it up.
I just don't get. I mean, I know that like there's hype because there's news about it, right? Like if there was no news about it, there would be no hype, obviously. But like, and there's got to be like some other reason that they, right, the lizard people, the elites, the controllers, like they did this, right? They stuck all these women in this capsule and launched them up. right? Like, I don't know. I talk about this every episode, but like, look at the day that it happened and the time of the launch and all these types of things. There's probably some fucking weird connections there because it's not that special, bro. You stuck some people up in the high atmosphere and they fell back down and they were in zero gravity for a few minutes because they were falling. Like you said, this is a fucking company that does this shit. They do it all the time. They do it all the time. This is just not in a plane. It's in a capsule, right? They just drop this capsule out of the sky, and it's like, oh, okay.
I saw all female crew goes to space. I was like, okay, cool. Click the article. Then I saw the list of names and saw Katy Perry's name, and I was like, instantly didn't care. And I was like, just exited out of it and ignored every post about it.
Who else was on there? There was a few other people. Who? Oprah's girlfriend?
Oprah's girlfriend.
I didn't.
Oprah's a
recognize any other
lesbian?
name.
People thought she was for a really long time because she always did everything with Gayle King.
So is it not really her girlfriend?
No one really knows.
Oh, okay, here we go. You got to see how hard this thing hits the ground here. Here, watch this thing. Watch this thing smack the earth. This was Benny Johnson's
Ooh.
reaction video to it, but that thing just wham.
Oh yeah, you would have a broken spine inside there, man. Your hips would be all
and then
fucking jacked.
of course, there they all are. And then of course, they like
There goes the dick. Just
there it goes. Let's see. Where is it? Oh yeah, here it is. So here's when they opened up the door themselves, and then this lady comes running up. She's like, no, close the door so that then Bezos can walk up with this fake tool in his hand and pretend to open the door again. What a bunch of freaking nerds, dude.
wow, look at that, huh? That's crazy.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh, look. Oh, he got it open. Oh, thank goodness.
It's like that video or that poster in the Navy, Jake, of that girl who's using
Look,
the
there they are opening up. She's like, oh no, stop. Okay, cool. Now you can open it up, Jeff.
there was a poster that was in the Navy work centers in naval aviation where there was like a girl that was using a screwdriver where she should have been using a wrench or something like that. It was pretty funny.
Crystal just told me that Bezos's fiance was also on in the capsule on the rocket. Definitely fake. You think Bezos would risk putting his own fiance on a fucking rocket, dude?
No, definitely not.
No way, dude. Absolutely not. It's fake. And even if it's not fake, it's not impressive. I'm sorry. You know what's impressive if it's not fake? Catching your rocket on a fucking tower, 20-story tower with chopsticks. That's impressive.
That's crazy impressive. Yep.
Right? Your capsule falling back and landing in the dirt is not impressive, bro.
Scrambling up Katy Perry's spine.
Primitive son of a bitch. No, we want chopstick catch action, okay? I want you to fucking your rocket out of the sky, dude. That's what I want. And I don't want this high atmospheric bullshit. No, Mars. Okay, talk about Mars. Talk about big shit, right? That's the difference between guys like Musk and Bezos. And I'm super skeptical of Musk, by the way. I'm just saying. Just not impressed.
I don't know why they did it. I don't care. I hate when they utilize celebrities for these stunts too. It deals to the lowest common denominator, and it's pathetic.
Yeah,
it's really dumb.
Yep.
It's like they're trying to just dangle keys in front of you, and you know they're literally just calling you stupid to your face. And you get people out there that are just eating it up and just accepting that they're calling you an idiot. And it's
I agree with
embarrassing.
Crystal. She says the only reason they wanted it to be impressive because it was all women. But but they weren't even like astronauts. They were just like, it's like calling passengers in a plane pilots or the flight crew, right? They were literally just taking a ride. And so it's like not impressive at
Yeah,
all.
it's not
by
like
any
this group
means,
of women like, did like something crazy. It's like, no, they just picked some women that are just famous women and were like, yo, well,
that paid an enormous amount of money to free fall.
That's what I was going to say is it's actually sad. It's honestly really sad what they did. They paid an enormous amount of money just for a bunch of likes and comments on their social media feeds or just so that they can up their price to their next, concert or whatever.
AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem, pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts. It knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief. And it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI. It's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
It's fucking stupid.
You know what they should do next? They should all get in a carbon fiber sub and go see the Titanic. Yeah.
That
Pay
would
the
be
same amount of
impressive.
money. Yeah, it'd be the first ever all-female
and
exploration team.
They should control it with an Xbox controller.
They should.
Yeah. No, that's evil. That's evil.
That's evil.
that's fucked up. That's pretty messed up. No, I couldn't care less about that either.
Yeah, not impressive. To me, it's just like more of the space propaganda. It's they're not really going into space. They know they're not going into space, so they just go into these high altitude things, right? And they're like, they try to put it off to the rest of us, like, look, we're doing stuff in space, like you said, the International Space Station. And it's like, it's not even in space, dude. It's just falling fast. It just happens to be moving at 17,500 miles an hour, and it's falling over the horizon, right? And at a really high altitude, but it's not in space, right? So they can't get out there. When you hear flat earthers and space is fakers, and they talk about like the firmament, right? I think the problem is that people have like this thought, this image in their mind of what that is, right? It's like this dome over the earth, right? And it's like you have this idea of how high up that would be, right? But maybe that is a quarantine system or a confined system or an enclosed system of some kind, and maybe that wall is just beyond the moon somewhere, right? And that's why everything that we do is just on the moon or closer. Even if they sent dudes to the moon, that's still not space, bro. It's still not space.
So let's talk about that for a minute. What do you think the what do you think the stigma is that the quote unquote bunny ears elite want to make out of space?
What do you mean? Like, what's the goal? Like, what's the point?
Yeah, why do they want to push an agenda about space?
Scarcity.
Why do they?
It's to propagate a scarcity, subconscious mindset in all of humanity versus an abundance mindset, right? If you, for your entire life, and all of your parents and your grandparents and everybody on the planet all believes that we're on this little speck of dust in infinite nothingness, and despite all of our efforts and all of our telescopes and our ability to peer back to the beginning of the universe 13.7 billion years ago, all of our radio wave technology, everything, despite all of our efforts, we've got no communications. We've found nothing. You just said yourself they might have found the first planet with life on it. And if that's the case, it's probably so far away we'll never, ever be able to fucking do anything about it, right? It's to
about
it's
12 light years away or
right.
something like
It's to install a scarcity mindset. We will forever in our subconscious minds be fighting over resources, be fighting over land. There's not enough of this. There's too many of that, and that's the whole point, I think. Because remember, I always say these are interdimensional psychic vampires. They're feeding off of your negative energy. And if you're just constantly, even when you're not thinking about it, just the way our society is structured is based off of a scarcity mindset. That's why like things that are rare are valuable. This is why gold is valuable, because it's scarce, right? Like everything is structured off scarcity. So these interdimensional psychic vampires are just feeding off of that constantly.
I wanted to make a comment on your episode the other day. I didn't get to catch all of your conversation with Creamer about why gold was so valuable. I have a theory about that. I don't know if you guys ever got to it. What did you guys end up landing on there, by the way?
Why gold is valuable?
Yeah.
Well, basically, it's valuable because it's hard to come by. It's not that it's necessarily rare, like there's not a lot of it. It's just hard to produce. It's hard to mine, right? So the cost of acquiring it and getting it out of the ground and sifting through and like creating actual usable gold is so high, so it makes the valuable of the end product high, right? So this is why every time the price of gold rockets, like it is right now, gold stocks, like companies that mine gold, skyrocket, and they mine more gold because there's more profit in the thing that they're getting out of the ground, right? So it's not really scarcity, it's like perceived scarcity, but that's the whole point of space too. It's just perceived scarcity.
So I have a theory about gold. I've thought about this before in the past. So there's been a lot of theories about like the ancients, specifically about like ancient Egypt's, about like ancient
Sumerians,
light bulbs and batteries and electricity and stuff.
Well, that's why gold's used in electronics.
Right.
It's because it's a superconductor, and it doesn't tarnish.
And it doesn't tarnish, exactly. So it doesn't tarnish. It doesn't corrode. Not like silver and copper, I believe, are better conductors than gold is, but the problem with those is that they do tarnish, they do corrode, they do end up going bad. Where gold doesn't, it lasts longer. It is a softer metal, right? So it could bend, it could warp, but in the long run, it'll last you pretty much forever.
Yeah, and you can't create more gold. Like you can't use alchemy to create gold in the same way that you could create other metals. There is a utility for it, but the utility, like,
it's extremely lightweight too, by the way.
Yeah, and the utility that you're talking about, like for electronics and things like that, like that's estimated to be like a small percentage of the market cap of gold. Like if you took that away, especially with like new advancements in technology now, like it's not really that important, right? It's really a store of value because it doesn't degrade. You could bury it in 1,000 years, you can dig it up and it's still gold.
Right. And I think that our obsession with it now as a society stems from our obsession from it back in ancient times, right? Because there used to be a real value to it other than it just looks good on my finger or around my neck, right? There used to be an actual value to it, a mechanical or electrical value to it, something that actually meant something in somebody's actual life or to society. What's that term? What is it? Planned obsolescence? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Where things are planned to go bad, right? It's basically the opposite of that.
Right. It's a hedge.
Right. Where something that was made of gold, where it was technological, right? And now, the as time is going by, you start seeing that science and archaeology are starting to combine more, and we're starting to get more and more people comfortable with the idea that technology was a thing, and these ancient civilizations that were once legend and lore are starting to become something where people are starting to believe that this could be a reality, where, you know, people like Jeff were talking about the Younger Dryas effect or event as something that happened. Right now, you have people coming out and saying that, well, the Younger Dryas potentially could have happened, or an event similar to that could have happened and reset humanity, eliminating all the technology on the planet. Something like an impact so strong, such as the Younger Dryas, which would have brought all the oceans under the crust of the Earth up to the surface, which would have caused a great flood. Also would have caused something along the lines of an EMP that may or may not have spread across the entire planet, right? Think of it like a nuclear bomb. One of the side effects is an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, which basically oversurges electrical and electronic components or equipment, basically to the point of where it gets completely fried and unusable anymore. Now, if these ancient technologies were anything like ours, something like the Younger Dryas effect would have fried out all of their technology, basically eliminating all of the ancient civilizations, because they would have been so reliant on them, just like we are. And I would imagine that gold would have been a big thing, right? Now,
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think that the ancients used gold for its utilitarian properties like we do in electronics. And the reason I say that is because most of the gold that we find that's ancient is ornamental, right? Like they were casting it and like using it as art and things like that. I think that they knew that it was valuable as a store of value, right? Like you said, it just doesn't degrade. You can't duplicate it, right? It's not going to fucking rot, it's not going to rust, all these things. I think that's really what it was used for like most of humanity. Now, the reason that it became valuable to begin with, I think, who knows, right? Like maybe the Anunnaki thought it was valuable, so the slave humans were like, hey, that must be valuable. I don't know, right? Like what the answer to that is, but I think our ancestors just looked at it as, hey, look, this thing doesn't tarnish, right? Like my great grandfather, my ancestors had this same thing and it looked the same, like it doesn't tarnish, right? And it's like, it's hard to come by.
And it makes your skin turn green, which is cool.
No, real gold, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
well,
I don't know. I think that's what it was, really. I don't think they were using it like in electronics. I don't think they were using electronics, man. I think that's the line of physics that we have taken in the last like 150 years. But I think there's another line of physics that the ancients were using. They were using
I think we absolutely have. And I gotta look up what they titled it. But there was an ancient piece of technology that was discovered on like a shipwreck or something not too long ago. Before we dive into that, though, I want to give a shout out to Creasy over on YouTube, who left a comment. Hello, guys, new fan, really enjoy y'all. Just want to say thank you for your comment. Thank you for checking us out. Always love it when new fans chime in. Thank you for your support very much. But are you familiar with what I'm talking about, Jeff? Jake?
Depends on, I don't know. There's a lot of shit that gets found. So what do you?
Hold on, I'm gonna Google this real quick. Fill in the dead space real quick.
I mean, basically, I don't know. Like, what were we talking about before the gold thing? Like, what brought us to the gold thing?
This right here, this thing. I don't know how to freaking pronounce this thing. It's Antikythera mechanism.
Oh, it's the computer that they found on a fucking ship. Yeah. But that's mechanical. It's not electronic. They've done like 3D scans of it and stuff. It's a mechanical computer.
Pull that thing up on the screen. I want to see what it looks like.
It's not like a computer in the traditional sense. It's doing computing via mechanical, like gears and stuff like that.
Like a clock.
Right. There you go, like a clock. But the thing that's interesting about that is that the ship and the wreckage that it's found in, apparently, like that, those types of mechanisms, those gearing mechanisms, and that technology isn't even supposed to exist yet, right? So like,
Right.
but it's not like they were using computers, right? Like that's where people get tripped up.
But look at this. This is clearly, looks like either a casted. It looks like it's a casted gear.
Right.
It doesn't. I mean, this doesn't look like it's chiseled out of something.
Yeah, I mean,
These are straight lines. This looks like it was mechanically made, which means that you had to have had electronics.
not necessarily. They were doing.
I mean,
dude, they were using mechanical stuff with steam engines and things like they didn't need electricity to do mechanical things.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, I think that they were harnessing energy, and like, were they using electricity? Sure, but I don't know that it was the reason that gold was valuable to our ancestors, is what I'm trying to say.
What ship was this found on? Was this
I don't remember.
like a pirate ship or
I think it was a
I don't
Greek,
know.
like a Greek ship or something, or a Roman ship. I don't know. I just don't think that that's the reason gold is valuable or was valuable to our ancestors. You know, was it used in technologies back then? It could have been. I don't want to argue with you about that, because I'm not going to die on that hill. It could have been. I'm for that. You know what I mean? Ancient Greece.
why are they saying it's a computer? Why? All I see is a gear. It doesn't look like a computer to me.
So it definitely it computed for sure. I know what Jeff is talking about because I also saw something on this. It was, I can't think of what the name of the tool is, but it's like it's got those rods with the little beads that you slide, and it's like
an abacus.
Yeah,
an abacus.
Yeah,
right. It's sort of, it works in a similar fashion to that. Right. It's not necessarily like something that's going to compute in the same way as like a laptop or a desktop is going to compute. It's going to compute in the same way as something like, where you're counting beads or like
you're turning the gears, and it's showing you. They probably also have to have a journal on the side that they're probably doing stuff in at the same time. Like,
correct.
It's probably a multi-step thing, kind of like, I don't know, firing mortars in this fucking video game, right? You got to fucking look at the map, do the protractor, get the angle, get the trajectory. It's like a 12-step process, but you're computing. It's a computer, but it's a system that's doing this, right? It's like a machine, a mechanical machine that's doing all these things.
See, I haven't looked at this in years. I think that the when I first saw this, or the last time I saw this, was probably 3 or 4 years ago.
The more coming in hot, like usual. This is why I love this fucking guy. My tools rust overnight from the ocean air. Any proof this thing is old? Nope.
That's true.
There's no fucking proof. True. You're absolutely right, my friend.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I love this fucking guy.
Yeah, the more. Missed you, man. Missed you.
This
we haven't had him chime in a while.
He's been on he's almost on every week. I see him, I feel like.
No, good call out. I like it. Because it's fair.
But we like to ask the question. Sometimes we like to play devil's advocate, bro. We like to ask it as if we're a normie and just entertain the situation.
No, I personally think that the reason why gold is valuable, though, isn't necessarily just because of aesthetics. I think that there has to be some sort of something behind it. It's got to be some sort of utility. I don't think it's just aesthetics, man. Because if you're just looking for pretty metals,
that's not what it is, man. There's a lot of qualities to gold that make it useful for money. I mean, it's infinitely divisible. Like you said, it's light, right? So like you can flatten out a small piece of gold and you can cut it up into really small chunks, right? Like you can get a lot of gold out of a small piece, right? That's one of the qualities of the metal. So it's infinitely divisible, right? It's relatively transportable, right? Which you need to like carry it around and do transactions around the world, right? It's like I said, it's hard to produce. You can't replicate it, like you can't make counterfeit of it. So there's a lot of reasons that this thing would become useful as like a monetary system, other than the fact that it's just shiny. I think the fact that it's like a shiny metal was just a bonus on top. Like, hey, because we used to use seashells as money. That was money for the longest time, seashells. And then people came across on boats and they just had unlimited supplies of seashells. And because of the supply demand issue, seashells became valueless overnight, right? Essentially. So then they moved to wheat bushels, right? And wheat bushels were money. Right? But it's not really transportable. It'll fucking rot by the time you get it to France. Okay. So they had to come up with something else. It was silver, right? But the problem with silver, there's ways to use alchemy to make silver. So there's reasons why gold became valuable. I don't think that it, it's just because it's shiny metal.
See, like the Moors chiming in right now about about it being electrical conductor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that has something more to do about it. We had talked about that just a little while ago there, the more.
I don't think it's the best.
It's not the best.
Conductor.
Copper and silver are better. But
copper and silver both
they corrode
corrode. Right.
Yeah. They're just.
I like what he's saying about, it runs as a currency, like the wordplay, the word magic.
I don't give a shit about wordplay.
I like that kind of thing, but these.
This episode is brought to you by Stouffer's. Here comes 3-time juggling champion Natalia Rogers. She's juggling law school, her TA job. Oh, narrowly catches the laundry. What's that fourth ball? Parents unexpectedly showed up at dinner time? Is that too much for Natalia? Not with Stouffer's Chicken Alfredo and its mouth-watering mix of Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan. When you're juggling 4 things at once and the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's.
This is your fix.
I'm your host, Stassi Schroeder. Welcome to Tell Me Lies, the official podcast. What's the most unhinged thing of season 3?
Steven, because he's so evil.
I do think he is misunderstood.
You see everyone face consequences. It's intoxicating.
The writers just know how to trick you.
There's always a twist in this show.
Tell Me Lies, the official podcast, January 6th, and stream the new season of Tell Me Lies January 13th on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
People will do this shit all the time, right? I mean, like they call the money that's flowing in and out of the markets liquidity. It's liquid, right? It's like water. It's flowing, right? So they use these terminologies like loosely. It's it's weird, but
that's what current means. Current means to move. Current, like to flow. Right. The
I agree with you.
Electrical current is the flow of electricity.
Right. I agree with you. I'm actually saying this as a rebuttal against what he's saying in the comment.
Oh. I'm just used to you playing with your words.
No, I like that type of thing though. Like if you come at me with a bunch of word magic, wordplay stuff, like I'm interested as fuck.
It's like he's like dill dough, like the plant dill and then bread dough. Right. Think about it, guys. Dildo. Come on.
I love that kind of
it's
stuff.
right in front of you. And we're like, okay.
It's like little action figures.
And listen, there could have been a reason that our ancient ancestors 100,000 years ago, used gold for some electric currents. I'm not opposed to that idea either. I'm just because I'm only saying this because you asked like what the main reason was, right? You asked like what made this valuable, like why is this the thing? I don't think.
No. I get.
I don't think electricity is the reason.
I think that the modern excuse as to why it's valuable is bullshit, right? I mean, we attach values to things just because we're stupid as a species, right? We attach values to some of the dumbest things. And, gold is, I mean, it's pretty, it's shiny, right? Is that necessarily the reason why we should attach something or attach value
that's what
to
they
something?
do with diamonds. Diamonds are valueless. The only value in diamonds is what we give them.
Well, diamonds also can cut light. right? So it could create a prism, which is valuable on with electronics, right? You can
there's
with optics.
just like gold, but I mean, in terms of, I mean, you could make diamond saw blades that cut granite and stuff like that.
Right.
Yes, but in terms of outside of using it as a tool and just using it as, you know, something that people throw around, look at how many diamonds are in my chain. The only value that comes from those are the value we assign that. If everyone just decided, it's like, I don't care what the cut looks like or the clarity, I'm only going to pay you $5 for this, diamond stores or jewelers would have to lower their prices because there's no actual value to that. But no one's going to do that because they use it as a wealth symbol.
The value for like rare earth metals, minerals, diamonds, things like that, like is mostly because of the difficulty in procuring, right? Like I was saying before.
Right. Yeah.
So
like
that's a
gold. But then there's other places where it's not difficult to procure it. Like I was just looking it up while you guys were talking about Egypt. Apparently the Nile River just dumps gold deposits all over Sudan. So it's like, because I was like, where did the ancient Egyptians get their gold? Because I know it has to be associated with quartz. That's why, you know, that's how it's formed, is from quartz deposits in rock carrying bits of gold, and then they pile up, and then they become,
this is a complicated,
they get found like
it's
that.
a complicated system, the way that they keep control of the markets using things like gold, right? Like you're saying, like there are, like gold's not necessarily rare. There are places you could just go and find gold, right? Like you could dig far enough in the ground, you're gonna find gold, but the problem is processing it, right? Like that's the expensive part. And not only that, but then you have every government in the world has like pretty strict laws on mining, right? And mining for rare earth minerals and gold especially, right? Now I would say that that's a conspiracy, there's a conspiracy behind that, right? Like they don't want to give permits out for it.
There's the basis of my question is why? Why that?
Because
why is
well, not anymore, but up until 1971, gold was the thing that was backing the dollar, which was the global reserve currency. It was the thing holding up all of the economics of the world system, right? Like that's why they chose that. I don't fucking know, because it's better than shells, because it's better than wheat.
But why is it now? Why is it still
not
like that?
It's not. They after 1971 they took us off the gold standard, right? So now it's just
they moved us off the gold standard. We went on to the oil standard for a little while. Now we're not even on it. We're not even on a standard anymore. We're on nothing.
It's on fiat. It's our fiat currencies backed by other global fiat currencies, which are backed by other global fiat currencies. It's just the faith and trust of the United States government. It's bullshit.
Correct.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But why is there still all the restrictions on mining for minerals and metals?
I'd say for the last few years, at least, it's been climate initiative driven. I think a lot of it has just been because these climate fucking freaks are like, don't touch the earth. Right. You got those type of people. But I think Trump's honestly like pulling that back, and we're going to start digging shit out of the ground again. I mean, you hear him talking about it. It's like, we're going to unlock American energy. We're going to unlock, we're going to start mining, drill, baby, drill, like all these types of things. Like the only reason to keep it under wraps like they did for so long was to keep the system locked the way that they have, right? The rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer, right? The only way the rich keep getting richer is by holding assets that appreciate as inflation occurs. The poor people, the rest of us, all of us who live paycheck to paycheck, essentially, right? Our dollars are worth less every single fucking week. So,
I mean, the ones that can't afford to go really, really high in the sky and then come slamming down into the desert.
So, like
making out with
that's
dirt.
why you lock the system up. That's why you have regulations, and you can't mine for gold, and you can't, because if you mine more gold out of the ground, the price of gold drops. The price of gold drops. Regular people can buy more of it. If regular people buy more of it, more regular people become wealthy over time. That's a no-no. So,
So why is it worth anything in the first place?
Well, that's a question we'll never be able to understand or know, I don't think. I think that question you'd have to go back in time 1,000,000 years to figure out why did the first person decide this was valuable.
All right, let's take a sharp left turn.
Okay.
So let's go down
Probably
a
a
different
woman.
path of this other rabbit hole. Why?
I said it was probably a woman. Crystal said it was pretty and shiny, and I said it was probably a woman. A cave woman told the caveman, "Bring me one of these shiny gold rocks, and I'll give you some poon nanny later." And that was the first time that there was true value assigned to gold.
And then there was war.
Yeah, and then there was
war. So, Jake.
Yeah.
I heard something.
It's false. All right, moving on.
No, I definitely know that's the route that you're going to go down on this particular question.
Okay, what is it? Aliens?
No, but it has to do with the Bible.
Okay.
And I'm asking this just because this is your side of the board, right?
Okay.
And I was listening to a podcast. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the podcast. I can't tell you who the guest was. I can't tell you who the host was. I don't remember. But I listened to it this week. I could go back in my thing, but I'm not going to right now. There was an interesting theory about time and how time could potentially loop. Okay. Now, the guest on this podcast specifically mentions the Bible. Okay. Now you can guess that the guest on this particular podcast is not a Christian, right? But they were talking about the Bible.
That's probably way out of context. Then that's good.
Oh, probably, and that's why I kind of want to bring this up to you because I'm not a Christian, right? So, but you are. You're very familiar with the text and everything, and I just want to kind of see if there could be anything here and what your thoughts are about it. So what he said is that the Bible does a really good job at being a history book, at telling you things that happened in the past about legitimate things, even historians in high level collegiate positions. Hey, we have another first time chatter from YouTube. Their name is simply just here. It says, "Hey fellers, we've been listening to you all week. Thanks here. Appreciate you."
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Go ahead and highlight. There you go. Thank you for
who's we? Oh, here is the name.
You and the feds?
Yeah. That dark van that's been out front all week long, staring at me.
So they were talking about how the Bible is a really good history book, and it describes things that historically actually happened.
Yep.
Okay. And I was interested in that part because like I said, I never read the Bible. I don't really know what it says. And that there are things in the Bible that's supposed to happen in the future. And how that there's even some things that are potentially happening right now that's in the Bible. And he says that there's a misconception that it's actually prophecy, meaning that it's basically to people that aren't Christian. This would be future telling, right?
Yep.
Where what it is in his definition, the guest on the show, it is basically what the Bible is a written book that has survived the looping of time. So it's one of the most accurate historical texts because it has survived through the time's loop. So you can take it and it is accurate, but it's not accurate because it's God's word. It's accurate because it is a accurate historical text of events that will happen because time loops.
So let me put it to you this way. So they say God is this infinite being that is outside of the realm of time. So he sees the beginning, the present, the end, all at any point all the time. So when it comes to prophecy, the reason why these people are so good at telling the future isn't because, they're predicting it or whatever it is. It's because God is telling people, prophets who do prophecy. The thing about prophecy in the Bible is that if you claim to have spoken for God and you were wrong, you deserve to be killed for it. Like, it was a big deal. So there's only so many prophets, and they would say things like Isaiah talked about the coming Christ and his death and resurrection in Isaiah 53, 700 years before Christ even stepped on the scene. And that's because God told him that this was going to happen, write it down. And this was for the Jews to look forward to the Messiah that's coming, right? So if you say that it's only accurate because it's kind of like an almanac or something like that, right? Happy Easter, the more. But it's only accurate because time has looped, and they're saying this is what's going to happen in the future because it's already happened before. I mean, the other way of saying that, in a more, I would say the truthful way of saying that would be that it talks about the future because God knows it's going to happen and told the people to write that stuff down because he's outside of the linear time that we have. Makes sense?
Yeah,
Not really.
I would basically just nutshell it like, my thought on that is, if this book is transcendent of time, right? If it's escaped this, or if it's, something that you can reference through time, then it must be of some being that's also escaped time or omnipresent, right? So it must be important.
But then you would be that's an understatement. But then you would have to assume then that it wouldn't just be a book in the beginning about the Jewish people trying their best to, follow God and failing miserably, and then God saying, well, there's nothing you can do. I have to step in and do it for you. And all you have to do is believe. And then into the New Testament, it extends out to the Gentiles, which is everyone else that's not the Jews, right? So there's Jews, Gentiles. Gentiles are everyone else, right? Jews are God's chosen people. They didn't fit the bill. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. God dies for everyone. Jesus dies for everyone, gets raised from the dead, defeats death, says it's finished. I am the final sacrifice. He died on Passover too. Passover is the Jewish tradition where they would sacrifice a lamb to cover the sins of everybody for the year prior. So he died on Passover as the last sacrifice needed. And then he was raised from the dead. Now, Revelation is a book about the entire earth going through a 7-year tribulation and, the Antichrist and all that sort of stuff. And that's where that's where all of the remainder of the prophecies are held right now is, when the end times happen. But if it was just a book about the looping of time, you would have to imagine there would be a lot more than just Jewish history in it, or history of places around where the Jews were at, right? And the lands around them. It'd be written in a lot more languages originally than Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic. There'd be Chinese and Japanese and all these sorts of things, right? You would have multiple different cultures. So I can't really buy into that, although it's a cool thought, but I can't really buy into that because it's like you would have a lot more than just this line of history. For these people, it would be everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or other, who, like our history books, why wouldn't they survive the loop of time to where we could know, in the next loop, September 11th is going to happen in 2001. Let's not let these guys on the plane or whatever, right? Or we could see all this governmental fraud and just be like, don't elect those people, There would be books like that all over the place, and there would just be never any surprises,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I listened to maybe 15 minutes of it. And the guy just he didn't make really good science, to be honest with you. So I didn't listen to most of it.
It's certainly an interesting thought, and I definitely agree with him that the Bible, in historical context, if you took all the God stuff out, all of the miracles, took Jesus out of it, all that sort of stuff, and you just looked at it as a history book, I mean, even people that aren't Christians, they aren't Jewish, they do sometimes, like archaeologists, will back their findings up into the Bible quite regularly when they do things like, hey, where Sodom and Gomorrah was apparently nuked off the face of the earth, apparently in the spot where they think it's at, there is a insane deposit of round balls of sulfur all over the place.
Really?
And in the Bible, it says it was raining fire from the sky. God made fire rain from the sky to burn up these two cities because they were so corrupt and so evil and so disgusting and vile and full of sin. Well, those cities don't exist anymore, right? Because they were wiped off the face of the earth. But what's left in where those cities may have been is you can dig into the sand and pull up like fist-sized balls of sulfur. And that's very reminiscent of like volcanic eruptions. Sulfur burns up and falls out of the sky and all that sort of stuff or whatever. But, if it's going to rain fire from the sky, why not that? So it's like, they do that sort of stuff, or they're looking for Mount Ararat where Noah's Ark might be, maybe petrified by now, but, type stuff. And so if you looked at it from just a historical thing, as like, because the events happened, right? There was wars and battles that were fought that actually happened. And we can verify this through the Romans, right? Through, the Babylonians, through the Assyrians, through all these ancient cultures and their writings and their, chisels on stones and of their battles and their conquests, and be like, oh, look at that. It lines up with the Bible because these people like King David, he actually lived. Now, did he slay a giant? I think so. I think that we would say probably because we think giants are real, right? But he actually existed as a person, right? And he wrote stuff down. So I mean, yeah, it's incredibly accurate, and so that's where I always get a kind of a laugh when people are like, "Oh, the Bible's just false. It's filled with fairy tales." It's like, all right, what parts?
Yeah, I would say like, especially with
people that lived,
especially like using the David and Goliath example, right? Like I would argue, like I would say, yeah, it probably did happen, right? Like
the world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use, helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize, so you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
I had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire an energy vampire. But also they're a literal vampire. And suddenly my team is spending all their time sharpening wooden stakes and buying bulk silver and rehearsing ancient chants, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant takes insights from over 1 billion professionals to create a short list of the best fits for you. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Probably was a David probably did exist based off of archaeological evidence, at least that I've seen on the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe giants exist, right? Now, do I think that the story is exactly how it happened, right? Do I think that like I don't know the whole story word for word, but from my understanding, he used like one of these slingshots, right, and like took the eye out.
Apparently,
right?
Apparently, the slingshots were incredibly accurate.
Seen videos,
and brutal.
I've seen videos on YouTube of dudes using those things, and they're lethal, right? So I'm not saying it's impossible, But I would just say, like, hey, maybe like this dude found a way to take this giant out. Maybe it was a group of them. Maybe he got like 10 of his homeboys and they ganged up and they slaughtered this thing. I don't know. But the storybook says it was like him. He's the hero. He took out the giant, right? Like, so that's kind of where I would say. I would say the stories, as all stories are, right? Even when I go fishing, right? I come back and I'm like, oh, I caught one this fucking big, bro, right? But like it was really like this. So I always think the story's a little but there's definitely like the foundation of the story must be true for it to be
so what I've heard from that story specifically is that Goliath probably had a pituitary gland problem. It was probably really big, and when he got hit in the face with that rock, it like ruptured something in his brain that killed him or gave him an aneurysm or something like that, blah blah, all this sort of stuff. But when you get into what the Bible talks about as far as like his armor and stuff, I think he was wearing something like in the ballpark of 420 pounds of armor. Like his sword was so massive, his shield was so massive, you know, his chest plate was so massive, his helmet, you know, it gives the weights of all these items that Goliath was arming himself and, you know, what he's wearing, right? And what's also interesting about that story is that I heard about this today, and I told Whitney, I was like, you know, what's interesting about that story is that, so David says, you know, I'm not afraid of you. I've God on my side, and I'm going to slay this giant, you know, the Philistine champion. And but instead of taking one stone, he takes 5 smooth stones. Do you know why that is? It's because Goliath had 4 brothers that were equally as big as him. So he brought enough ammo just in case he had to kill all 5 of them. Isn't that interesting? But yeah, it's just like, just kind of an interesting tidbit. But yeah, I mean, super, super, it's an interesting thought, certainly, that time loops like that. But yeah, I think that there would have to be a lot more other cultural sort of books like the Bible in historical references to be like, hey, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. The Mongols are going to attack, by the way. You know,
maybe we'll jump into looping time one day, because that's another concept that's picking up a lot of steam.
I like what is it called? Crypto terrestrials, when they're like time travelers. Is that the right?
I don't know.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I saw like a video the other day and it reminded me. I remember this is like 10 years ago, man. Like there was this floating around, and it was that the time travelers from whatever year, right? 3,000, whatever, far off in the future, right? They go back to ancient Egypt, right? And like the astronauts or the cryptonauts' names are like Osiris, Isis, Ra, right? Like all the gods of ancient Egypt, and it's like, that's super fun to me, right? First of all, somebody needs to make like a sick Netflix series about that, right? Like dudes going back in time and like they're the Egyptian gods and they like create the iconography and the symbology and like all the stuff that just like permeates through time and history, enabling them to like, you know, because if you think about it really, man, like not just the Egyptians, but like the ancient Sumerian, all of the ancient cultures, I mean, everything has evolved slowly through time when it comes to like mathematics and the understanding of sciences and these things, to where now we're implementing like Fibonacci sequences and stuff into like microchips, right? To make things work. So it's interesting that if that was the case, if some beings came back in time and like just showed the cultures like basic geometry and stuff, knowing that 10,000 years later, that would evolve into like using geometry to power quantum computers, to power time travel, to keep the cycle repeating itself. You know what I mean?
You don't think that if someone went back in time, though, they would just jumpstart the whole process, be like, hey, this is how you make steel?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Literally. But not so literally, like, because you know, you can't intervene so directly and like hand a fucking laser gun to a caveman, right? You have to
sure you could. It's just immoral.
You teach them the basic fundamentals of reality, right? Like I said, mathematics, geometry, you know, it's shit like this that, over the course of generations and generations, it naturally evolves into what we're doing and what we will be doing in 1,000 years with the technology we're creating, right?
That would be something pretty wild. But then again, like, was it last episode maybe, or the one before that, where we were talking about going back in time, that it would not affect the current timeline at all. So the guy goes back with the intention of jump starting the technological advancement by, say, teaching them the Fibonacci sequence or whatever it is. But that then breaks off and turns into its own thing. So the guy gets back to his timeline and nothing's different.
Yep.
Well, I mean, maybe that's, and this is all theoretical, right? So is universe or infinite universes or whatever.
Sure.
It's all theoretical. But if it is the case that there is an infinite number of universes, maybe that's because the cycle is just happening infinitely, and every time it's just creating another universe. It's almost the same, but not,
See, Jeremy, I listen.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a scientist.
Yeah. Science.
But it is interesting too when you think about like the Nazis in World War II and like the symbols that they were using and the occult stuff that they were trying to dig up, right? Like Indiana, me and Creamer were talking about this. Indiana Jones, like that's real, man, right? The Nazis were like going out into the world and they were like scavenging and grave robbing. Yeah, like grave robbing the ancient sites and stuff like this, right? They were going to Tibet and grabbing scrolls, all this stuff, right? So it's like, and they were using the same like iconography, like the eagles with the arms spread, right? Looking like that thing, like that's a Roman symbol, right? And like some of these things just kind of permeate through time, and we use the same symbols now, right? And it's just like, that's just one tiny example in an infinite sea of examples, but it's interesting to me. Right?
So the Moore just brought up another thing that I think we talked about this last week, the last 100 years. I think it was like it was like 1910 to 2010 or something like that, where we went from the Model T to drones on Mars or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just the amount of technology in 100 years was just absolutely incredible. It's mind blowing what 100 years does. And just to think, I'm 37 years old, and to think that I could potentially have 100 years on this planet, I could be looking at 63 more. What could this planet look like in 63 more years? What could the technology look in an entire lifetime, 100 years long?
That's so wild, because you got to think like my grandpa, born in the 20s, right? With no, we're born in the 30s, but like the car was super like, it just scarce. It was so scarce to see someone driving around in a car type stuff, to end of his life and he's going and buying a brand new Ford F-150. I'm just like, that must be insane, right? To look back on it. Because I look back and be like, oh yeah, the floppy disk, or whatever. Yeah. Back when thumb drives cost hundreds of dollars for a few gigabytes, and now I'm just like, terabyte, $50, whatever.
I mean, it's crazy because I'm a father of 4, and my wife and I feel old when I try to explain to my kids that we used to have phones attached to the wall with cords.
Yeah.
And it's like, they look at me like, are you serious? Like that used to be a thing. You used to have to stand next to the wall to talk to people on the phone.
You should pull up the dial-up sound when you're getting onto AOL.
We did,
yeah.
and that's one thing that my wife Katie brought up one time, was that when we were children, you had to choose whether or not you wanted to be online or you wanted to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
And my oldest daughter, she was like, what do you mean? She's like, I do both all the time at the same time. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know.
Wasn't that long ago, man. Honestly,
It wasn't
that long ago. But no, shit's gonna get really crazy soon, man. I mean, that's what the Great Reset is, right? And so I'll kind of use the Moore's comment to bridge into what you're talking about here too, because he asked, when do you think the flood in the Bible happened? The idea of the first reset, right? Like when? I think the Younger Dryas, right? 12,000 years ago, that whole event, whether it was a comet impact or, Yellowstone type eruption or whatever happened, I don't know, solar flare events, Anunnaki war in the sky, who knows? Something happened for sure. And like that caused mass melting of the ice sheets and rain probably for 40 days and 40 nights, flooded everything, the whole nine, right? The whole thing happened. And that was a reset. But I think those resets happen every so often. And they, right, the lizard people, they know this to an extent and they use that to their advantage, right? They build certain, systems and structures and they like use that as like a parasite system for X amount of time until the next reset. And we're about to go through another reset because of all the technology that you guys are talking about that we've seen in like 100 years. Bro, we went from all of humanity using fucking horses and carts, right? And all that.
Mm-hmm.
And just in the last 150 years, like you said, we're quantum computing, AI agents, cryptos, you name it, all this. We're literally talking from thousands of miles away in real time on the internet, not paying for minutes. The whole thing is crazy as fuck. And in the next 100 years, like you're talking about, dude, it's going to be like a whole different world, man. It's going to be cyberpunk world, probably.
This is, I love talking about this stuff because I recently have gone through a lot of ideas on how to upgrade the show or how to dive into new concepts and new projects to get into. And so I kind of took a trip down memory lane with Infinite Rabbit Hole and listened to some of the really, really old stuff that Jake and I did, right? Like season 1 stuff. And
oh, no, not that.
Oh man, like really, really, really bad, terrible stuff. And
not that, please, anything but that.
And one of the first episodes we did, I had made mention of, and I held this thought for a long time. Shoot, I think I talked about it like a month or two ago about how it's damn near impossible to travel to a planet or to the Zeta Reticuli system, which is 4.3 light years away, because of the literal physical distance and how we cannot go that far because of our restrictions on generational time and the restrictions on I see that. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that one because that's hilarious. Good job, Lamar. Oh, not that one. This one. There you go. And it's unbelievable because I was looking at that, and in one of the very first episodes, I used the analogy of the ant, right? Where, the ant lives its life. It could be living its life next to a super highway, and it would never know that it lives next to this great technology, right? Mm-hmm. It just continues to live its life as an ant. It does ant things. It only lives its life thinking about ant stuff, right? It may wonder about how things are out there, but most likely it just worries about how it's going to get its next meal, about how to dig its next hole, about how to protect its queen, or whatever ants do. And just live completely ignorant of the technology that it literally lives right next to. Now, that was an ant situation for me, right? If I really took the time and I looked at the last 100 years, and I looked at and I saw that we went from the Model T to drones on Mars. Is it really completely unbelievable to think that we could not develop the technology at some point to travel from here to Zeta Reticuli in the time span of a lifetime? Could we break the speed of light? Is there a way around one of or both of Einstein's theories of relativity? Could it happen? I think that I think that by saying no, right? This is kind of a new thought process for me. By saying no is putting limits on human capability. And I think that if you were to go back 100 years from now and go back to the time of the Model T, and you ask somebody, hey, do you think that we'll ever even go to Mars? Do you think that we'll ever be able to pilot drones remotely?
And they're like, a what?
Right. Right. Do you think that we'll be able to fly radio controlled helicopters from here on Earth?
And they'd be like, what's a radio?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and they'd be like, no. Right. Or, you know, do you think that we'll ever be able to talk face to face with somebody on a cell phone? And they'd be like, oh, you think like on Star Wars? Right.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Star Trek. I know. But a lot of people would be like, no, you know, 20 years ago, that wouldn't even be a concept. That wouldn't be a thing. Instant communication around the world wouldn't be a thing. Right. The sharing of information. No. So I think that when I said that, you know, 4.5 years ago now, Jake, we're coming up on our 5th anniversary, by the way. It's crazy. Isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that I was limiting our, you know, the human species. And I think that the human species has a wall. I do. And I think that overall, I think we're close to that wall. I think that, you know, there's certain individuals that can break us through, but we have these obstacles in our way, and most of those obstacles are ourselves. And if we could somehow figure out how to get through that I think that, you know, in the terms of technology and capability, I think we're basically limitless. I think we could pretty much do whatever we want.
If space is as big as they say it is, if all that is true, I don't necessarily think they would be able to build like a craft that would bring us faster than the speed of light. You know, I don't know enough about physics to know, but I don't feel like that would be the case. I feel like it would be more likely is that we'd figure out some way to like do some quantum entanglement with a particle on Zeta Reticuli. We'd be able to use that particle as like a drone, you know, and the best we're going to get is like some kind of, you know, like a drone footage, but from a particle, right? That might be like some future technology. Like, hey, we can see now anywhere we want in the universe in real time with quantum vision. Right.
Well, we don't have to get anything to the speed of light because a light year is the time it takes light to travel.
In
whatever,
a year.
right?
In
a year.
In
So
a
you
vacuum.
could do a quarter of that and make it, you know, so it's 4 light years away. So instead of 4 years, we could do a quarter of that. So now it's, you know, 16 years or whatever it is.
You can't, not really. You could do that for things in our local cluster. Again, this is all assuming that what they tell us is real, but I think it's bullshit. But in our local cluster, you could do that. But again, everything's expanding away. So if you're not within the local cluster, if you're not moving at near speed of light, you'll never reach things that are expanding away from us once you explore everything in the local cluster.
As a contractor, I don't pay for materials I don't use. So why would I pay for stuff I don't need in my mobile plan? That's why my Biz plan from Verizon Business is so perfect. Now I can choose exactly what I want, and I only pay for what I need.
Right now, with my Biz plan, get our best price, as low as $25 a line. Visit Verizon.com/business to get started today. New lines only. Price per month with 5+ lines. Includes auto pay and paper-free billing and promotional discounts. Taxes, fees, economic adjustment charge. Applicable add-ons, prices, and terms apply. Guarantee applies to base monthly rate and stated discounts only. Add-on prices additional. Offers in March 31st, 2026.
Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccer rules.
Año nuevo. Los mismos Extra Value Meals en McDonald's. Ahora te puedes llevar 2 snack wraps y papitas y una bebida mediana por solo $8. Solo por tiempo limitado. Precios y participación pueden variar. Los precios pueden ser más altos en Hawaii, Alaska y California y con entrega.
So like
you would have to,
even if you go light speed, it's not enough. You're fucked.
You think it's moving that fast?
Well, that's what they say.
It's expanding that
Yeah, that's
fast.
what they say. That's why you can only see so far back in time, right? When you look back at the beginning of the universe.
He's not technically wrong.
So we'd have to go 4 times the speed of light.
You'd have to go faster than the speed of light in order to reach things outside of our local cluster. I'm pretty sure, right? I don't know. I've heard.
Now, would people be able to be on that flight? Because at the ISS, they're doing 17,500 miles an hour, but they don't realize they're going that fast usually because it probably doesn't feel like they're actually moving, but they are.
Well, they're moving with.
As long as you're not making any abrupt stops or 90-degree turns.
Right, yeah. And they're moving within like the they're moving within the ether of the Earth, right? It's
right.
People would say
Sure.
within the gravity of the Earth, but I'm going to avoid that.
I think
the Moore says the Milky Way is moving at 2.2 million miles an hour, or so they say.
Yeah, that all the numbers they give us is just fucking ridiculous to me.
He says that means that we're moving at 2.2 million miles an hour. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, we're moving in like 6 different directions, right? We're like orbiting. We're rotating around something that's rotating around something else that's rotating around something else that's expanding away from a center, right? And the constellations don't really change. Now they do change because I've heard this argument. I don't know. I don't want to get into the space is fake debate, bro. But like,
why even bring it up then?
Because
Jeff?
we're talking
Jeez.
about space and stuff, and like I'm thinking about ways that this could work, and then at the same time I'm torn because I'm like, man, this just doesn't make sense to me, bro. Like none of this shit
with all that movement and the constellations don't change. The North Star hasn't exploded.
In 10,000 years, you could still look at a cave painting and be like, yep, those are those stars right there. That's those cluster of stars in that formation that's on that 10,000-year-old painting right there.
I don't know how true that is.
Ask the Discovery Channel, bro. That's where I saw it. That's the information.
It's a good question.
That's the information they're giving us. Whether it's true or not is a good question. I don't know, but that's what they tell the general public, right? Like if you turn your TV on, that's what they're showing you with fucking, this show and that show and whatever else.
I'll have to look into that. Never really thought about that. That would be interesting.
The Moore says all star maps made throughout history are accurate today.
Yeah, but if you're looking at like modern human history, it's really not that long.
Okay, but still, it doesn't matter. Not only are we moving at 2 million miles an hour in multiple directions and angles, the sun is moving faster than that, right? I don't know, around the galactic core, right? The galactic center of our galaxy. And then the galaxy is expanding away from the universal center, the Big Bang, right? At faster speeds than that. So we're really booking it. And so is everything else, right? So how come all of the stars aren't like just every couple of years, like just drifting and slowly like moving and morphing to different positions because of all
Right.
of
Why
the
isn't the
chaos.
North Star now the East Star?
Right.
Well, I mean, if you
I get like, yesterday and today, it might not be a big difference, but over the course of, like he said, all star maps in history, bro, going back hundreds of years, thousands of years, and we have like nothing there's not like a handful of stars even that have just like completely drifted over here because of the chaotic motions.
there's something about this I don't like. And I'm trying to think of the term. There's a term that it's right there.
That's what you said about chemtrails.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
That's what you said about chemtrails before we got into it. And now look, Florida's putting a bill through that's banning chemtrails.
Well, okay. I was saying that naval aircraft are not putting chemtrails into the air. Like the aircraft that I worked on while I was in the Navy did not put chemtrails into the air. There was no way that they were loading up chemicals into these aircraft.
That's exactly what they would tell you to say.
That's that.
Yeah, those
you're right. That is
probes. Those were actually
the
sprayers.
The PTOS,
what you're supposed to say, brother. It's okay.
That's right.
It's okay.com,
right.
bro.
The Moore says, didn't the Navy do it in Vietnam?
They also did it.
No,
in
that was
Operation
Agent
Sea Spray.
Orange.
Dude.
All right.
What about Operation Sea Spray? Aren't we getting into that soon?
Yeah, but we should.
We should.
That's
actually not even a chemtrail. That's a biotrail, dude.
That shit fucked me up.
That's biological chemtrails.
I've had a cough since that moment. It's been months now of having a crazy cough.
I'm still trying to get over this this walking pneumonia.
Operation Sea Spray shit, bro. That fog, man, COVID, the whole thing, bro. I don't know. There's something there.
Come on. I just did research on this stuff.
Probably.
Where?
Probably a vaccine side
Is
effect.
you? I gotta name my stuff better.
Yeah, I'm so bad at naming shit, bro. You should look at my SoundCloud. Shout out to my SoundCloud. If you look at the names of my songs, they're fucking ridiculous.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, Why's the Sleeper on SoundCloud. Check out Woe is Harambe.
Woe is Harambe. Dick's out for Harambe.
Yeah, bro. I wrote a song called The Great Reset in like 2018. Fucking ahead of my time, brother. I'm telling you.
That's not it. Oh, this has to be it.
The Moore wants to know if that's Frank the Bunny behind you.
Donnie Darko
Jeff.
Rabbit. Yeah, bro.
No.
No, that's some cheap fucking... Where did I get that? Spirit Halloween? Got that from Spirit for our Halloween episode. And I spent like $50 on it. Wore it for like a third of the episode. And I was like, now it's decoration because I spent $50 on it.
As things go.
It's a pretty thick
Okay.
mask, though.
So here is a... All right, here is a portion of a blog that I was writing for a blog called Are UFOs Extraterrestrial? This segment, or this paragraph, is called Universal Expansion and WMAP. I could read this off real quick. I think this would fit right in to what we were just talking about. You want me to do that?
Sure. Throw it out there, bruh.
This is more about aging the universe, but this talks about how the universe expands, which kind of mixes in with what Jeff was talking about. All right, so another way that the age of the universe is measured is by measuring the rate of expansion in which the universe is growing. This is done by astronomers utilizing what is referred to as the Hubble constant. The Hubble constant is found by measuring the distance to an object in space and another value known as the recessional velocity, which measures the speed in which the same object appears to be moving away from the observer. These two data points will give you the Hubble constant, or the rate in which the universe is expanding. A common exercise that is performed to help explain this concept utilizes a balloon with a few dots drawn on it. As the balloon expands, the dots grow further and further apart. This is essentially what is happening in our universe. And while you are watching the balloon inflate and the dots move apart, you are watching the expansion of the universe happen on the scale of a balloon. The rate in which the dots are expanding is a representation of the Hubble constant. This, unfortunately, has been proven to be an unreliable method of measuring the expansion of the universe, as the universe is too old. Galaxies and other astral bodies have been bouncing off of each other and shooting each other across space for billions of years. So every object is moving at a non-uniform rate and direction, making the Hubble constant not as reliable as once thought. Now, our astronomers utilize a piece of equipment called the Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe, or WMAP for short, which measures the cosmic microwave background fluctuations of the universe by measuring its current density, composition, and its expansion rate. With the data found by the WMAP, we have determined that the universe is approximately 13.77 billion years old, plus or minus 0.059 billion years. That's only a 0.4% certainty percentage. WMAP works by practically measuring the expansion in reverse, utilizing the data from the first two data points, density and composition, as well as Einstein's theory of special relativity, back to when the universe had a value of 0 for a size. The time difference between then and now is the measured age of the universe. But of course, there is one issue with this process. This is working off the concept that the universe is flat and has a basically planar shape. But with all of the evidence that we currently have, there is nothing to worry about, as the universe seems to be flat in its basic structure. But even if it weren't, the uncertainty rate doesn't change much. With the low end of our estimation coming from the globular clusters being pretty close to 13 billion years old, and the estimation from WMAP being at 13.77, giving us our high end of the estimation, we can now safely say that our universe is between 13 and 13.77 billion years old, with a comfortable and small uncertainty percentage on either side. With the WMAP, we can also get an estimation of the rough size of the universe, or at least the observable universe, which is 27 billion light years apart. Some current astrophysicists and scientists believe that 90% of the actual universe lies beyond that, which is what Jeff was talking about. That is a ton of space, too much space for humanity to even think about the possibility of traversing such a distance with our current understanding of science and physics, as well as our modern technological advances. So, the concept that I was thinking about that I said that I don't really like was the idea, you know, how Jeff was talking about how, or you guys were both kind of bouncing off, how the sky looks the same now as it did in the past. Well, the way that gravity works and everything with galaxies, planets, solar systems, right? Everything down from the smallest astral bodies to the largest astral bodies, is that when these gravitational forces from these bodies inside the vacuum of space get close enough, they create a slingshot. Okay. And they turn each other, and it will mess up the projection of where they're heading. So nothing, the universe is old enough now to where nothing is heading in its original direction anymore. So, if everything was, in fact, just continuously heading in its original direction that it was heading in, from the point of the Big Bang, then our night sky could potentially still look the same as it did when the Earth was created. But that's not going to be the case. Now, we have these things called globular clusters, which I'm not going to get too far into right now. Maybe I should, but I probably won't, because we're already, how far are we? We're already an hour and 45 minutes in. So I'm not going to get into it right now. But basically, these are areas.
Why even bring it up?
These are areas of space where there's just a plethora of stars, right? And it's just a big cluster of a shit ton of stars. Basically, where a star went supernova, created a nebula, and little stars started popping up in its place. And the globular clusters basically arise from that. And the oldest globular clusters are thought to be remnants of the Big Bang, like the original Big Bang. These are some of the most active areas of space, and these objects inside of these original globular clusters are heading in all sorts of directions. And these are basically the initial objects that created all of the dysfunction in space. So as these things, these smaller stars, were creating all this dysfunction, heading off in different directions, creating dysfunction on the larger scale, and everything that was basically moving away from the point of center in the universe, everything else started kind of going out of whack, including galaxies and other solar systems, planets, and whatnot. So
my point remains the same. All of that is happening, and none of it looks different.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is something I didn't like about the idea of going back in time and looking up at the sky and seeing the same sky that you see now. I don't like that. Now, if you're just going back in a sense of human,
what do you mean you don't
history,
like that? What do you mean by you don't like that? I don't understand. Like, what do you explain?
Like it's fishy. It doesn't make sense.
Like, you don't think that's the case? Like that's true, or like that it's odd?
I think he's agreeing with you, Jeff.
Okay, I'm agreeing.
That's what I was wondering.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I took the long route there. I explained how my mind came to that conclusion. But yeah. We have a question from here on YouTube. Do you guys ever take call-ins? We don't.
We fucking should. We have a link for it.
Do we?
Yeah, Riverside offers you a link that if you join, if you're watching this stream on Riverside, not on YouTube, not on Twitch, not on X, but if you go to Riverside and watch this, now the only way you could do that is if we shared the link, which we don't. I don't know why. Then on Riverside, you can request a call in, and we could do call-ins.
Really?
Yes.
Or you can join us on an episode. You're always welcome to do that. Just hit us up on any of our socials or email us at infiniterabbithole@gmail.com. Just be like, hey, I want to join you guys on an episode. We record every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m.
Most people
Pacific,
don't have
right?
2 hours. Most people don't have professional equipment, camera, time, or a quiet background, especially at the time that we're doing this. So, call in a 30-second question or a minute question. It makes sense.
All right. Well, then I will try to figure it out. But the invitation is open if you do want to do that. More than welcome to. Themore joined us one time.
Well, that's because the Moore is a Fed, and he wanted to see.
He called him a Fed. Got him.
Just kidding, bro. I'm just kidding, bro.
We wanted Jeff to slap those lips on him.
But yeah, so maybe I'll investigate how to do the call-in thing. I don't know how to do that, but we'll figure it out. Maybe Jeff could figure it out and let us know.
Probably not. I literally just gave you a tutorial.
Maybe Jeff will tell us
Did I
how
not
to do
just
it.
give him the tutorial? I just gave the
Only Jeff would stop gatekeeping the
Jesus
information and help us
Christ.
out. That would be cool.
It's literally in.
Maybe if Jeff told us how to do it.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe you guys should be adults and figure it out yourselves.
Thank you.
What did you say?
She said, put on your big boy pants and do your own damn research.
Thank you.
Wow, that's messed up.
This is why I love you.
Team Jeff.
Well, if you love her so much, why don't you marry her?
Ooh.
Oh.
CJ popped the question.
You need to take this little boy and turn him into a man. Also,
Yeah,
it's
you
weird
do.
you're in a relationship with a little boy. It's kind of not okay, Crystal.
But yeah. So anyways, I didn't realize that we were already an hour and 50 minutes into this. So
when you just allow the ADD to take over and just do whatever let the conversation go wherever the wind takes it, you know?
Yeah. So, do you guys have any final thoughts?
The Moore says wrong agency, Jeff.
Wrong agency. Fuck, I knew it, dude.
CIA.
I threw you off though. See, now you outed yourself. It was I planned it all. I planned it all along.
No, I don't have anything else.
Final thoughts.
Good talk.
Stack sats. Stay humble. Question everything.
Stack what? What'd you say?
If you know, you know.
I'm confused.
Audit reality.
Audit reality. Ooh, I gotta write that down.
Audit reality.
That's gonna be like a tagline for something. Bam. New podcast, Audit Reality. Got it. Done. All right. Well, thank you to everyone who showed up for another live episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Thank you to our new listeners. We had a couple of them from YouTube today. Thank you very much. We hope to see you next week right here. No idea what we're going to talk about, but we'll figure it out. If you do want to join us on an episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole, just shoot us an email, infiniterabbithole@gmail.com. Let us know. Give us an idea of what you kind of want to talk about. That way we can kind of prep a little bit. And
leave us a voicemail.
Yeah, go to infiniterabbithole.com. Leave us a voicemail. Hit the little red microphone button in the bottom right-hand side of the screen, and we'll play it at the beginning of our next episode. Until next time, when Jeff doesn't show up for UFO days, we'll see you right here in the next fork in the path of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. I'll be live tomorrow.
You will.
Be live doing what?
I'll be live tomorrow. Shout out, man. Not Tuesday. The Moore said Tuesday. It'll be tomorrow, Monday. Just so you know.
Ooh.
What time?
Live shadow band tomorrow.
Fucking 7.
Everybody.
7-ish Eastern.
Okay.
He said fucking 7-ish something tomorrow. Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. If you're looking for more of our stuff, head on over to infiniterabbithole.com, where you can find links to all the podcast players that we are available on, and even our video platforms such as TikTok and YouTube. While you're there, make sure to check out all the links for our socials and hit that follow so you know when all the new stuff from our podcast comes out. And until next time, travelers, we'll see you right here in the next fork in the path of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Bye.